I'm learning that the phrase "when it rains, it pours" fits perfectly well within the context of the life of a musician, particularly with myself, because I find myself flicking between periods of inactivity and slow down, slow moments, and periods of go 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 go, which which we which the day in question, the 10th of January, is one of those days.
So we're talking about Saturday, the 10th of January 2026, in which I was going to be playing two different gigs on separate sides of Ghent, with a half an hour gap in between the first gig finishing and the second gig having to have been set up and start and get to, set up and start. This meant having to work backwards, so I arrived at my second gig first, which was going to be a 2-hour cover gig, and I had to get there first because I wanted to drop off my equipment, my new mixing desk, microphone stand, box of cables. That isn't my normal setup for when I play there, but we'll get to that in a second, which is why I had to turn up there first. Is that making sense? I hope so, because this is the third time I've recorded this, and by golly gosh, I'm sticking with this version.
Just dumped my stuff in Foley's, can you see it? There. I hope you can see me because I can't see myself on the little screen and I didn't bring my light with me. Apologies, you just have to... Yeah, well, I'm here anyway. So, we're now going to walk across Ghent, which fortunately is not a very big city, to Kinky Star. I'll tell you this for nothing though. I'm a man, right? Therefore, I don't get cold. I don't feel the cold. And I'm not feeling the cold now. But it is cold. And I'm feeling a bit cold.
Now, there's a part of me, and perhaps there's a part of you too, that thinks, Freddie, are you making life more difficult for yourself by booking two gigs on the same night on different parts of the town? And yes, I am making life more difficult for myself by doing that. But A, it makes for great content. And B, in the world of live music, Fridays and Saturday nights are the nights. And this particular case, it was the same Saturday night that both of these gigs were going to be happening. But if everything went smoothly, I could do both. Now, obviously, if one gig was in a different city and the other was in another, it would have been impossible to do, and I would have had to say no to one of them, which I have done in the past when I've had opportunities come up and I could only do one. And I'm 100% sure that there will be cases in the future where it will happen again, because I've done some Googling just to make sure of this, and it turns out there's only a finite amount of Friday and Saturday nights in a year. Comedy. Questionable comedy.
I'm happy. That took 10 minutes. And that's with a relatively conservative pace. So I think afterwards, when I've had a bit of adrenaline from playing this first show, and with the necessary need to get there on time to set up, because that's going to be a little bit of an interesting, different experience tonight. But to get there and get set up in time is going to be more than doable, I think, providing that I can get out on time. So here we are, we're in the Vlasmarkt now of Ghent, and there is Kinky Star.
So the first gig of the night was going to be a 30-minute opening slot at a venue called Kinky Star, which is a legendary music venue, which we'll get to in a second, opening for a band called Transport Aryan, which I had the pleasure of opening for almost a year to the day in the early 2025. Now, Hamlet, the singer and the main guy of Transport Aryan, reached out and asked me if I wanted to open for them, and any opportunity to play original music, and I'm game. Secondly, it'd be great to see him and the band again. But there was this issue of logistics and could I do it, because I'd already said yes to the cover gig, because the cover gigs are often booked way in advance, which I've been annoyed at myself in the past, because you say yes to them because you know that they're booked in and you have the work and you have the money, but then you have opportunities. But I don't really want to play cover music. If I'm brutally honest, I want to play my music. So when opportunities come up to play my music, I'm like, hell yes. But then, shit, I've already said yes to this cover gig. But in this case, it was in the same place, or the same town, with a window of opportunity to be able to get from one to the other. So I said yes. Is this too much, this hand movement? I'm doing it to kind of make myself feel a bit like I'm actually talking to someone and not a camera. So I'm sorry if this is too much. Just don't watch. But also watch and like and subscribe and shit. Now, if you haven't been to Kinky Star, I would highly recommend you go, particularly if you haven't had much live music experience, but not because it's a particularly incredible venue or that the sound system is crystal clear or they have state-of-the-art facilities. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of all those things. But that's not me putting it down at all. You should go because Kinky Star is the type of venue you don't see much of anymore. It's kind of dark in there. It's rough around the edges. It's an honest meat and potatoes live music venue. It's a place that has a community. It has a scene. It's a place that at its center is about people and music, which is quite rare to find, really, nowadays, which is a shame. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this recording setup. I have a GoPro here, which I'm filming this on. And I have this. Where did I put it? Oh, I'm recording on it now. It's a little stick that works as a tripod, but it also is a charging stand. So I can, when the battery of the GoPros run out, I can plug it into the stand, effectively. And if I've charged the stand, it then charges the GoPro. Okay? You following me? Sweet. Now, when it's recording, there's a little red light that you can't see now, but I can see now, and it's blinking. Okay? When it's charging, the red light is static. So when I've set this up and I'm playing and I glance over and I see a red light, I'm not looking at the GoPro the whole time. I'm looking at the audience. So when I look over and I see a red light, I register that it's recording. I don't register whether it's blinking or not, just that I see a red light. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, it was charging. It wasn't recording. So you're going to just have to believe me that the gig was incredible, that I played great, that I blew minds and I broke hearts. I did, in fact, manage to obtain some pictures of the audience from the night, from on the stage as well. So here they are right now. This is totally from my gig. There was a lot of people there, as you can see. So when I arrived at Foley's, I was told, so the usual system is that I go into their mixing desk, and their mixing desk is then split between two PA speakers, one set up on the bar and one set up above the entrance door, and split between those and their in-house system, so people at the back of the bar could also hear it. Now, when I arrived, they told me that their in-house system was buggered. So could I just go through the two PA speakers, one on the bar, one above the door? Could I do that? And I could, and I was, unfortunately, it was annoying for them, but it was very good for me. Here's why. Because I wanted to try out this new Tascam Model 12 that I have. And what I was slightly concerned about was that the in-house systems for a lot of Irish bars that I've played in are quite old. They've been used a lot. They've been used a lot by sometimes people that don't really understand how they work. No shade, I'm just telling you what's going on here. Which means that they have often been played for too loud, for too long. The system can then be buzzy, or the speakers are blown, or there's dirt and beer and grime in the mixing desk, which then causes it to be buzzy and stuff like that. So I don't normally travel with this Model 12. But using your own system can sometimes be a bit better because then you know the sound is going to be relatively decent. Because sometimes when I'm playing them and I go through just their system, it can be crackly. And then, with all due respect to, not particularly, I'm not talking about the staff tonight, but then some staff think, oh, he's not very good because it's crackly. It's, there's crackling and hissing and popping and stuff. Oh, he's not very good. But actually, it's their system. But anyway, but this was good because that then meant that when I used my mixing desk going through the two PA speakers, if there was any popping or hissing or crackling, it would have been something on my end that I could have troubleshooted. So, plugged in, and I can report that the desk was amazing. I bloody loved it. The sound was great. I had my in-ears as well, which I started with, and then I took out because I could hear myself relatively well, but that was a dangerous thing because although I could hear myself well, I feel like I compete with the loudness of the bar, which means I sing louder and strain more. So by the end of the gig, especially after having the gig before, the voice was a bit buggered. So a tip for myself, even if I think I can hear myself well, I should use my in-ears because then it keeps my voice at a good level. And I managed to record using the inbuilt recording system on it, some of the gigs. So here is a little bit of that now.
Hey pretty baby, when the high heels on, you give me fever like I've never ever known. You're just the product of my loveliness. I like the groove of your walk, your talk, your dress. I feel your fever from miles around. I pick you up in my car and we'll play the sound. Just kiss me baby and tell me twice, 'cause you're the one for me, the way you make me feel. You really turn me on. You knock me off of my feet now, baby. My lonely days are gone.
Can you see me? Wonderful. Good. Whoops. Really good. Knackered now. The desk was perfect. Very excited to use that on the Alps tour in a few weeks. Yeah. Back to you in the studio.
The cover gig went as they usually go. Not toot my own horn, but it went really well. Yeah. But by the end of it, I was a very, very sweepy boy. Thank you to everyone that came to my gigs. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for Hamlet and Transport Aryan for having me open for you. Thank you for Kinky Star and Comrade at Kinky Star for doing the sound. Thank you so much for an amazing experience there. Thank you to Foley's. Thank you to Alex and all the staff at Foley's for having me there regularly, once a month kind of thing. So I really, really appreciate that. And thank you for watching this. I very much love and appreciate you too. And I wouldn't be a YouTuber / musician if I didn't say like, comment and subscribe. And regardless of whether you do like, comment or subscribe or not, please know that I love you very much and I hope you're having a ruddy good day. Okay, bye, love you, bye. Questionable comedy.